Game ain't over. The sun is shining. And it ain't over.
You wanted the best, you got the best from my home studio on Long Island, New York. Welcome to Ian Scotto Rocks. I am your host, Ian Scotto, and today I just wanted to take you through some ridiculously underrated guitar solos. I am not a guitar player, so I can't really get into the intricacies of what makes these great. I mean, I did play a little bit of guitar as a little kid, and I own a few guitars, but I can't do much. So I'm not going to be very technical with these. This is just what I happen to like. I am a fan of flashy guitar solos. That's pretty much what these are. That's what I would describe them as. And yeah, that's exactly what this is. Look, I'm not going to do November Rain or Enter Sandman or a bunch of solos that you've heard before. These are mostly deep tracks. These are tracks that you probably don't know this solo, and I'm going to introduce you to. But actually, the first one we're going to start with is probably the most known solo of the five, because it's from Shotgun Messiah, and although they were certainly not an A-list band, this is the biggest song that they did, Heartbreak Blvd, off the Second Coming album. All of the guitar solos on this album are amazing, so kudos to Harry Cody, who is their guitar player, or was their guitar player, since they haven't been active in many, many years. This is the solo from Heartbreak Blvd, and it's going to blow you away. I also wanted to play a little bit of the hook because it's such a great hook. But you know what? One thing before the solo even starts that I want to say is this was 1991. Times were changing, and for a band that looked very glam maybe a year prior, they definitely switched up the image to look a little bit more Pantera. I think they were very much inspired by Pantera around this time to start changing things, and that may be a video for the future, but let's keep going. All right, here we go. I love how slow he gets into it. Love all that tapping. Okay, I could easily play the rest of the song. I want to play these whole songs because they're so good. I love how he throws the tapping in there. A little bit of George Lynch there, maybe a little Eddie Van Halen influence. Great guitar player. Pick up Second Coming if you haven't, because it's a great album. And I am convinced if that album came out maybe 2 years prior, it would have been huge. It's so much better than a lot of albums that are more critically acclaimed, at least for people who like this genre. So I guess I wouldn't say critically acclaimed, because critics never really like this genre of music, but fans who like this music, this tops so many albums. It's probably one of my favorites of the genre. And that guitar solo, undeniable. All right, let's get to the next thing here. This is Hold Your Fire from FireHouse. Not one of the more known tracks. Really, their bigger hits were on the first album. This is an album of the same title, Hold Your Fire. This is their guitar player, Blvd. And man, killer guitar solo. Once again, this album actually really spotlighted some awesome guitars, but this solo blows me away. Check this out. And I wanted to play a little of the hook. It's a great melodic hook. effing sick. Dude, so it's like FireHouse is more known for their ballads, and I think unfortunately that's what people think of them as. They don't think of them as a band that could rock like that. Tell me that's not an amazing guitar solo. All right, speaking of fire, this is another guitar solo that involves the word fire. This is I've Had Enough, Into the Fire, and I did a video on Mark St. John, the forgotten member of Kiss, and he certainly shouldn't be forgotten when you hear solos like this. And yes, I had to play a little bit of this hook, because the hook is insane, insane. Here we go. Listen to this, how it builds up. God. All right, I want to play the whole hook there, but it's amazing. He was such a shredder, Mark St. John, and I feel like Kiss in their books kind of criticize him for that, but when you listen to a solo like that, how could you not love that? I know that they say it was very of the time, but that's one of the best Kiss guitar solos I've ever heard. And that's one of those things where when you meet people who say, I'm really not into Kiss, I'm convinced if you're not into Kiss, you haven't listened to nearly enough of the discography. And you think of Kiss as just like, I want to rock and roll all night. And yeah, those were good, pop rock songs. But it's stuff like that where you go, holy shit, incredible, incredible. That's my favorite Mark St. John guitar solo. All right, moving on. Yngwie Malmsteen. Yngwie often gets accused of being like this soulless guitar player who's just flashy and he can't do anything besides play fast and tap on the frets. And he has some very soulful, very tasty guitar solos. And this might be my favorite of which. This is Cherokee Warrior. And I think you're going to hear a little Stevie Ray Vaughan in here, a little of that influence. Check this out. This is a track I'm sure a lot of you never heard. This is not like one of those big Yngwie songs, but man, is it killer. Cherokee warrior, that's the battle, that's for sure. The way you left behind, left behind. Give me some of that guitar. I love the vocals on that too. Great. Anyone who tells me Yngwie doesn't play anything soulful, listen to that, man. That's Stevie Ray Vaughan. That is as soulful as it gets to me. Buckethead gets accused of that same thing. And I think the problem is these guys have such a big discography and they do love to play stuff that just shows off their skills and their guitar player. But just like Buckethead, who has a lot of stuff in his discography that people would be blown away by, something like that, man, you don't have to be a fan of like the crazy fast stuff to really appreciate that. All right, the last one I'm going to play for you guys, the fifth, is going to be the newest of all of these. off the Sebastian Bach Child Within the Man album. So here's the thing. When I heard this guitar solo, I go, man, who is this? Because I know that the album featured some really big names. He had Orianthi on this album. He had Steve Stevens on this album, John Five. So I was like, this must be one of them because this is the best guitar solo on the whole album. And this is actually just the guy who plays on the rest of the album. This is Devin Bronson, who I wasn't familiar with at all. Just looking at his Wikipedia, he's really more known in like the pop world and pop rock worlds. But what a shredder, man. This is the best solo on the whole album. And this, I made a mistake, I will say, on a previous video where I said that I haven't listened to a full album since, and really enjoyed every album, and really enjoyed every song since Deftones' Koi no Yokan. I said that in the Album Listening Experience is Dead video. The new Sebastian Bach album. Fuck whatever you think of his politics and personally, every song on this album is killer. All killer, no filler, as they say. This is Sebastian Bach about to break, Devin Bronson on guitars. This takes you on a journey. Listen to how this goes up. I love the bass behind this too. Love that doubling up there. Oh my God. That's the best guitar solo I've heard in years on a new album. That is amazing. All of these. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. You know, this isn't my top 5 guitar solos of all time, but they may be up there. This is just songs I happen to be listening to where maybe I'm working out, maybe I'm driving around, and I have to play that back because I go, holy shit, that is a guitar solo. More than likely, once this channel is monetized, this video will not be monetized because I'm using other people's property for the music that we played here. So if you can show your support and go to the merch store and pick up some stuff, link is in the description. I'd greatly appreciate it. And with that, click right over here if you want to check out more material from my channel, Ian Scotto Rocks. I would greatly appreciate it if you subscribe, if you like, if you leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of these guitar solos. But quite honestly, if you tell me any of these were bad, I'm going to say you are out of your mind. But enjoy.